Okay, so a couple of you have asked about deferred annuities. They're very similar to loans. The difference is the money's going into the account instead of coming out of the account. And so there's two things that are slightly different. Is when you're making payments, you're not subtracting the payment off. And secondly, you deposit the money before you get the interest. So normally when we're paying loans, we have an initial amount times 1 plus the rate over 12 minus the payment. Okay, this time it's going to be the previous amount plus the payment. So this is your new amount, if you will, times 1 plus the interest. 1 plus the interest over 12. Okay, that's the big difference. So this is for an annuity situation. So you deposit the money first, then they pay you the interest. Here, they're charging you the interest on the previous balance, then you subtract the payment off of that. This is what's called at the beginning. This is called what's called at the end. Okay, so most times you make your house payments, you do it at the end, so they charge you interest and then you make the payment. In the case of annuities, you do it at the start, at the beginning. So it's this thing right here. So I made up an Excel spreadsheet for you. So here we have nothing initially. Okay, we're doing a payment of $100, and here we have interest of 6%. And I went ahead and took the liberty of for 18 years. That's a 12 months a year, so that's 216 months. So this is the example they do in the book, the trust fund. So as you can see, we have the previous balance plus $100. Okay, times 1 plus the interest over 12. Again, drag that baby down. And at month 217, which is really the 216th month because month 0 was the initial balance, you have $38,929 in your account. Okay? Again, that's the easy way to do it. You can use their formula in the book. It works too. It's just a little harder and uglier in my opinion. Now, something else. Now, it says what would it have to be so that you'd have, I think, 50,000. They mentioned that as well. So I'm going to teach you something cool here. It's kind of fun. It's kind of nice. So if you go to financial, and this is under formulas, financial. Okay, two things. First of all, let's do the same thing we just did, but this time let's let Excel do the math for us without having to do all the dragging down. So you can do 0.06 divided by 12 because it's monthly. There are 216 payment. That's how many times we charged interest. Payment was $100. And this last one's important. You need to put it at 1 so we get it at the beginning of the period. Okay, and as you can see right here, $38,000, right? 38,000 out of my pocket, but that idea is the same amount. It doesn't matter to us. Okay, so 38,929.996. So obviously rounded it up. The difference between that, if I make this a negative, that would make that a positive. So that's really the only difference. It's minus out of my pocket, so it's building in the account. Not a huge deal. Now, they want to know, well, how could I make this happen if I wanted it to be equal to 50,000? So what you do here, if you go to payment, right here, PMT, and again our rate is 0.06 divided by 12. Number of payments, again, we said 216, that's for 18 years. The present value is 0, the future value is 50 grand, like so. We would need to be making $129.08 a month payments. Okay, oops, and the type, of course, is at the beginning, so we got to make sure we make that 1. So it's actually $128.44. Okay, so if I took this $128.44 and I put it right here, okay, and hit enter. Now if I scroll down to the bottom, down at month 216, if we hold our mouth right, that should be 50 grand. And look, it is right on the button. That's pretty exciting. Okay, so those are the formulas that you should use when you're doing deferred annuities. Again, whenever you're doing deferred annuities, and it doesn't matter which of these formulas you're doing, whether it's PMT, you must make this equal to 1. That's at the beginning of the period. And from a standpoint here, it's A1 plus the payment. You add it first, and then you charge them the interest. Okay? That's the big deal. So that's the difference between annuities and loans in terms of how the math gets carried out.